Welcome to the STARS program, seniors taking active roles in society. And now, here's your host, Anita FINLEY.
So we're going to talk about the one and only 18th Boomer Expo coming up. It's going to be at Seminole Casino, Coconut Creek. And I have my buddy, Dan, on the line. And Dan's our administrator. He also is there managing the volunteers and everything else that has to get done. So, Dan, Verity, we certainly are glad that you're going to help us today.
Yeah, well, thanks. Glad to be with you.
Right. So, the one thing that we don't talk too much about, and I really like to, is about our tribute to James Bond, 007. And we're very fortunate that we have him that comes there.
Yeah, he's terrific. He, the last expo, he helped us out up on stage, and he was announcing some of the prizes and the winning ticket numbers. He also helped out front with a little bit of crowd control, and he just walks around and meets everybody, and everybody really, they love to get their photos taken with him. So,
do you know that he actually does this all over the country?
Does he really?
Oh, yes. He goes to Las Vegas. Oh, absolutely. He is hired for many gigs all over.
Huh.
I think because, he looks so much like that old James Bond that I used to like.
Right. He does, yes. Sean Connery.
Exactly. Yeah. And he has this English accent.
Yes, yeah. He puts on he's the complete package, I tell you.
Yeah.
It's so funny, I didn't tell you this, but probably about 3 or 4 months ago, I saw him shopping at Publix.
That's right. He lives in Delray.
Yeah. And he was far enough away where I couldn't run up to him and say hello, but I just thought, wow, James Bond shops in Publix.
Oh, that's funny, right. I wonder how many people recognized him. But, of course, he gets all dressed up in his white jacket and his boutonniere, and, he's really terrific. We've had him a lot. So if you come, we'll make sure that you get a picture with him.
Absolutely.
And he's one of the special things. Well, we do a lot of special things there, don't we, Dan?
We sure do.
What do you like the most?
I like just the overall excitement. It's an exciting day. It's a busy day. There's a lot going on. Bev Pester is just one of the best musicians going. The music is terrific. One of my favorite parts is when we do the honor celebration to the veterans.
Right.
I've seen it how many times, how many expos have I been at now, and it still brings a tear to my eye.
Yeah.
All that patriotic music and the veterans all gather around up front by the stage, and it's a really very solemn and touching event. And I think a lot of people remember that.
Yes, I know they do.
I know a lot of people talk about it, right?
Right, and you, of course, when we produce the magazine, for those of you listening, if you would like to get your name on a board there, if you will send in your information, and I'll give you some way to do this. It's a long email. I'm not going to do that. Let's just have you go to BOOMEREXPOFL.com. BOOMEREXPOFL.com, and you can then fill in your name and few pieces of information. And then what happens, Dan?
Then what I do is I put all that information into a spreadsheet, and then a couple of days before we have the expo, I bring all that stuff over to a printer, and we have this beautiful honor board made up with all the names of the veterans that pre-registered. And that's just our way of announcing to everyone that we're really happy that they're able to attend the event and gets the recognition that they certainly deserve. We also take those names and I print them on little cards, and that goes into a big drum. And then, let me see, at 1 o'clock, we have cash drawings, and we're doing a little different this time. We're going to do 10 special cash drawings of $100 each. So that's 10 lucky veterans that will have a chance to win a cash prize. So those little cards go into the tumbler, and we pull out 10 of those one at a time, and we get to announce those names to the audience, and it's really that's an exciting time for us.
Yes, it is. I think I'm glad you mentioned about the veterans, because I have checked around, Dan, and for some reason, although there are a lot of expos, little expos and little things, there's no one that does what we do, where we bring in the largest amount of veterans, we honor them, we have an honor guard, at a celebration like this.
Yes, absolutely. Another thing that's worth mentioning too, in addition to that, is we call ourselves the one and only, and that's because we were the originators of the expo idea, and many years ago. And there's been a lot of companies that try to duplicate it, but we are the one and only and the first one. And one of the things that we've done over the years to differentiate ourselves from just every other expo is to honor the veterans.
Yeah.
And we get we've gotten quite a following doing this, and it's really, this is the least we can do for all they've done for the service to our country, and we so greatly appreciate it. And I know they're appreciative of the recognition as well.
And you do deal with them so much because you're the one that takes their calls and all. And I think what it does, we don't talk about the women, but I think the wives are so appreciative because many of them were together when their husbands went off for war, and they are very proud of their husbands then.
Absolutely. Yes, and sometimes, every time I get a call from the wife of a veteran who had passed and make special mention of having their husband's name put in. And, of course, it's certainly not to mention, we don't want to leave out the women who are veterans who join us every year in this celebration, and we certainly are very honored to have them, too.
Yeah, that is true.
So it's not just the men, it's the women, too, right?
Right. There was a woman, I don't know if she came last time since I hadn't been there, but there was a woman in her 90s.
Yes.
She was a veteran.
She comes to every single one, yes.
That's
yes,
great.
And we, it's always so nice to see her. We've sort of developed a relationship with her, and she comes in full uniform, and what a delight. It's just an absolute delight to see her.
Yeah. Well, let me move along with something else about this with the veterans, though. At one point, they were the veterans from World War II. Now, of course, they're less and less living, but we're noticing that we're getting them even the Vietnam War, Afghanistan. Yes.
Yeah. Afghanistan, the Gulf War, the Iranian War. So it's certainly not in any way limited anymore to World War II veterans, but to all veterans. And, unfortunately, we have veterans of more recent times, and of course we welcome them too with open arms, and they certainly, again, deserve the recognition that all veterans receive.
So I want to tell everybody, mark your calendar, Tuesday, July the 25th. Tuesday, July 25th from 10 to 4, and it's at the Pavilion, which is located there at the casino, Seminole Casino, Coconut Creek. You know what I like having it there instead of down at Seminole Hard Rock, Dan, is because the parking is so much easier, and it's easier to get in and out.
Yes, it is. And even handicap parking is right up against the pavilion building, so it's really it's very accessible to everybody. We love it.
Yeah, we do. And of course, people like to get prizes. They like to win prizes. And I don't think anybody else gives as many prizes as we do. We do this, I think, every other hour, and they're big prizes. Do you want to share some of the wonderful prizes that, of course, you're not allowed to win?
No, unfortunately. Well, the big ones are the cruises. We give away cruises, courtesy of Discovery Vacations, and my gosh, people line up to get a chance to win the cruises. And we also have a large screen HD TV, gift cards, Let me see. What else? We have tickets to see theater productions at local theaters, and just the list goes on and on. And let me tell you, folks love when we give away the prizes. And just before you're about to announce the winning ticket numbers, boy, oh boy, does that crowd get right up to the stage because they want to hear those numbers, and it's such an exciting time. So we're always happy to give away these wonderful prizes.
Right, and we have over 50. And then I guess what's really important, too, is to talk about the exhibitors. And, of course, without the exhibitors, we wouldn't have an expo.
No.
And so the exhibitors are really interesting, and I don't know if you have a list of the exhibitors, but they're just so, they're grateful to be there.
Yes.
They're very proud to be there. They love their business. They talk to people. One company that is outstanding has been, I think, at every expo we've had is, of course, Regents Park of Boca Raton.
Yes, yeah. Leslie Curtis. And, yes, they are there at every single one, and we try to keep them in the same location because folks like to go and visit them. Had a very...
Excuse me, maybe we should really talk about our sponsors. I really want you to do that this time because we have two fantastic sponsors.
We do. Clear Captions is one of our sponsors, and also Apple Insurance and Financial Services is our local agency for Florida Blue, and we're very happy to have them along this time.
And they pay a lot of money, and we really try to put them up front.
Yes.
Give them everything we can. It takes a lot to sponsor something, and I have to really appreciate them. They know that the people who are coming love this, and we don't charge. I mean, someone's got to pay for it, and that's what sponsors do.
Yes, and that is, you brought up a very good point. We have had the expo, it's always been free and open to the public, and of course at the casino there's plenty of free parking, and in order to do that, we certainly owe a huge thanks to our sponsors and our other exhibitors. So we've got to give a hand to Clear Captions and Apple Insurance for being with us this year because, my gosh, we certainly couldn't do it without them.
Right. Now, our exhibitors. So the exhibitors, it's funny, they come there sometimes 7 o'clock in the morning, all prepared for the crowd that arrives usually at 9:30. We don't let them in until 10.
Right.
But and when I think about it, it's a Tuesday, and so they spend all day there, and a lot of them are giving out information. Some of them are selling things, like we have some lovely ladies who sell jewelry and handbags and things like that. But we do have so many exhibitors who know that a senior adult or even a baby boomer needs to have some help to be able to age gracefully. And we do try to find those people.
Yes, absolutely. Which I have the list in front of me. Do you want me to go through it with you?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, we've got the album group, United American Insurance, and they sell all kinds of insurance. But they're a great source for even if you have questions. My gosh, by all means, come up to see the album group.
Well, it's United American, which is really their
United
insurance.
American.
And I've had United American for a long time.
Yeah, so you know all about it. They're one of the industry leaders in Medicare supplements, and by all means, come up and see John Album and the group at the United American Insurance booth. We also, of course, I mentioned Apple Insurance, which is the local agency for Florida Blue. Again, health insurance. That's just it's the topic of everyone's conversation these days, and they can help you with any questions you have. You can discuss products with them. They'd be more than happy to help you out.
And then I'm going to jump in with Cleveland Clinic because they've come many times and they love to be there, and we're very proud to have Cleveland Clinic. Do you know that Cleveland Clinic is now up in West Palm as well as out in Weston?
I just found that out the other day. And I was very happy to hear that because I often get referrals from friends and family who say, "Oh, you got to go to Cleveland Clinic." But then I think, well, I live in Boynton Beach. I got to go all the way down to Weston. So I was really happy to hear that they're now in West Palm Beach. That's terrific.
And I try to get our magazines there up at the West Palm Beach Clinic because there are people. It's over there by City Place.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a great place.
Okay, so
right in the middle of everything.
Right. What's another one?
Well, Clear Captions, we mentioned, they have caption telephones. They've been with us before, and we're just absolutely delighted to have them back again this time.
You know what they do, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Why don't you explain that?
Well, their telephone equipment will actually convert the voice into text, and it will read out on a screen that's attached to the telephone. So it's an all-in-one device. It's a telephone with the traditional handset, but it also has a sort of little smaller screen on it. Now, we're not talking the size of a computer monitor, but a smaller screen, and it will convert the voice to text, and it will show up on the screen. So folks that are hard of hearing can use this device to speak to their grandchildren, to speak to their children, to speak to doctors, and get all this important information in text, which is very important, especially if you're talking to a doctor's office. And then it will also save those messages so that you can refer back to them at a later time if you need to.
I didn't know that. I didn't know the saving, but I have one thing that is important. Did you mention it was free?
No, I didn't.
It's
my
free.
Gosh. Absolutely, yes. How could I forget?
Well, the government really supports this, and so they're able to give this away free, Dan.
Mm-hmm. That is it's amazing. It really is. And so if anybody who's interested in a free caption telephone, my gosh, you certainly got to go check out Clear Captions.
Right.
There's some wonderful people over there that are very familiar with all of their equipment, and they'll find the best one for you. So we've also got Coventry Healthcare, which is a Medicare Advantage plan here in Florida. You can meet with those folks. They're one of our VIP advertisers, and they will be having a booth there at the expo. Duncan Theater. Duncan Theater's returning, and they are based in Lake Worth, and they will be, I believe, in fact, I know, some of our prizes are going to be to tickets to see a Duncan Theater production, so we're glad to have them back. Harbor's.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, we also have back the Metro PCS.
Yes, that's correct. Metro PCS. And they will be giving away a cell phone package as one of our prizes too. Let me see here, a cellular phone with 3 months service. So that's a nice item for anybody to get.
Right. And you were going to say something about Harborside?
Harborside Comfort Services. They're new. They'll be joining us this time. They have home health aides and companion care, and we're just very happy to have them joining us this time. Curtis Mattingly is the gentleman that we work with over there, and very impressed by these people. So if you're interested in home health aides and companion care, you certainly want to stop by and see the folks at the Harborside Comfort Services booth.
And so we also have, we can talk a little bit about people who bring their jewelry and they bring handbags, and they're beautiful and they're not that expensive, really. Yeah,
you're absolutely right. I'm trying to think now. It's Karen who has the jewelry, and she was, Must Have Accessories, Karen Tunick. She was at our Cure Symposium, and she's going to be making an appearance again at the 18th Boomer Expo. She was at the 17th, the one that we had in January. And beautiful, beautiful stuff that's all handcrafted, small accessories and hand-designed jewelry, and it's gorgeous stuff. So I tell you, you stand in front of that beautiful display she has, and you're just
Right.
mesmerized by
Right.
all the
You want to buy
shiny
everything.
and the glitter and just the beautiful colors, right? So, and the prices are certainly very reasonable.
Exactly. Well, it's funny, years ago, we didn't have things like that. We had pretty
No.
much just the exhibitors or the big booths, but we thought we needed to add a little interest, and that's
Yes.
why we did that. The other thing, Dan, that I think that people appreciate, whether they really realize it or not, is we spend a lot of money for decorations, balloons and things, so it feels very festive. So when people are there, they know it's not just an empty hall with just some tables.
Right. Yeah, the balloons are outstanding. And what we're going to be doing for some of the exhibitors, we're going to be adding additional balloons to their booths to make them look certainly more appealing and definitely patriotic. Everybody always comments when they come into that pavilion at first thing in the morning is, my gosh, how gorgeous it looks.
Yeah, that's right. We like it.
Yeah. It's very inviting, very festive, very patriotic, and without the balloons and the decorations, it would be just an expo.
Right. Now, one thing, too, I had on my radio show just recently Jorge Reyes, who is an author. And so tell everybody what we try to do with the authors.
Yes. Well, we have a book fair booth set up, and all the authors from the past 6 months, and then even in some cases beyond, we have their books out for display, along with copies of Boomer Times and Senior Life magazine. I also provide sheets that to accompany the book, so that folks can find out where exactly to get copies of all these wonderful books that you've been reviewing the past 6 months. And it's sort of it sort of is a cheat sheet, so they can get some basic information about each book, and in some cases on how to contact the author directly. So I know our authors appreciate it, and we certainly do, because of the wonderful materials that they've been providing us for our book reviews over the past 6 months.
Yeah, and authors are very nice people, and they
wonderful.
And you know how long it takes I don't know if you've ever written a book. How long it takes to write a book, Dan?
I haven't, but I'm pretty sure that I can guess that. Holy cow! It must be. I know you've written several, and
but it's
a big undertaking. Really
it is. It is, but it's important, and if you have something in your mind, and every month we have a book of the month, and so
yes.
You ought to look and make sure that we do also have other kind of books. So if you're listening and you want us to review your book, we have a certain program to do that, and you can just call us. And I'm going to give you our phone number that you can call if you want information on the expo or anything. And it's 561-864-1101. And I'll repeat that again. It's 561-864-1101. So we will help you, and Dan is always there, ready on the phone to help anybody that needs something.
Right.
It's one thing we don't have to do too much for this, the directions to get there.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. It's a pretty easy place to find. It is on Sample Road. If you take, let me just get to that page here because I don't want to make any mistakes. It's located, of course, in Coconut Creek, and the correct address is 5550 Northwest 40th Street, Coconut Creek, Florida, 33073. Now, if you didn't have a chance to write that down, don't worry, because you can go to BoomerExpoFL.com. Or, of course, you can always give me a call here in the office at the number Anita just mentioned, 561-864-1101. Let's see, Northwest 40th Street is right off of Sample Road, which you can get to from I-95. You can get to it from the Turnpike. I-95 is exit 39. Florida's Turnpike is exit 69. And the Sawgrass is 18A. Very, very easy to find. When you pull onto the property, just follow the signs to the parking garage, and you're all set. If you park in the parking garage and you first come into the building, when you take the elevator down into the main floor, we will have volunteers there to point out where the pavilion is if you're not familiar with the Seminole Casino, Coconut Creek.
Yeah, and I usually just take Sample Road and I just go west when I get off I-95, and then, you know, it's really easy to get there. But the other thing is, when you're there, you can really enjoy the food. They have wonderful restaurants.
Oh, gosh.
I mean, we don't we don't have food at the expo, but you can eat there, lots of restaurants. And also, you could gamble. I mean, some people, they just want to play a few slots. That It's something that keeps you going. It's fun.
It is. It definitely is. My favorite food place there is the First Street Deli, which is right outside of the pavilion. As the name implies, they have sandwiches and salads and hamburgers and hot dogs and things like that at a reasonable price. And that's where I managed to duck out during the expo and get something to eat.
Oh, that's where you go, huh?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, well, Dan and I decided to give you a little preview of the one and only 18th Boomer Expo at Seminole Casino, Coconut Creek, Tuesday, July 25th from 10 to 4. And you not only will meet the famous James Bond, the tribute to James Bond, but we're going to have lots and lots of prizes, over 50 premium prizes. So please do come. We'd love to see you. Tell us that you heard us on the radio show. And remember that Apple Insurance, which is Florida Blue, and Clear Captions are our major sponsors, and we thank them so much.
We do.
I guess that's it, Dan.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm glad we got to talk about this.
Yeah, thanks. It was nice talking to you, too.
Goodbye.
Bye.